Advanced Portfolio Evaluation, Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? I've decided to answer this question by doing a close textual analysis of my own trailer. This is my opening shot. This is conventional to my genre and movie trailers. We decided to create our production logo as being called ICU Productions to set up an ambiguous tone to the beginning of the trailer. This is also our company logo for the people who are in the control room in the trailer and have control throughout the trailer. This intertitle, I feel, challenges conventions of real media products, as we hadn't seen this done before. The idea of it being typed sets up immediately that they are being watched and we are in a technological era. We also hadn't seen a trailer where they'd set the time period of when the film was in, and we felt this was an important thing to establish so that our narrative was a lot clearer throughout our trailer.
Where am I?
Our opening shot of Chloe was a mimic of a shot in The Maze Runner when Thomas first wakes up in the maze. We felt it was important to quickly establish that the character didn't know the situation she was in.
Station 21 is now active.
We're cutting between the two narratives there so we can establish on screen quickly that it's happening at the same time. Our character says Station 21 is now active, and the dialogue to follow enhances the fact that this is Station 21. We also see Chloe in a very distorted, canted shot, showing that she's unknown in her situation.
Hello, Station 21. Today's world is becoming overpopulated. Ensure that only the strongest people, both mentally and physically, can survive. You'll notice a symbol on your left hand. Intelligence is key to your survival.
We decided to explain the narrative quite early on in the trailer so our audience would have a better understanding. We gave the character the prop of the iPad so we could use technology to help and explain. Our costumes here for the people who have been put there are very similar to, say, the Hunger Games, who have just been stripped down to bare basics in combat wear. We decided to make the decision to split our groups up into 3. So when they all wake up, you could see that there was 3 different types of t-shirts: green, red, and grey. They all have different symbols on their hand, and the idea behind that for us was that the symbols reflected their personalities, and it's a lot more psychological than first expected. The effect on that intertitle is commonly used within our genre. We used the words "the best-selling novel" as our target audience was people who had been watching the films after they'd read the books and had been big fans, so we wanted to already have attracted a following. The fact that it was already a book as well means that it's already pretty successful and it would entice more people to see the film, knowing that. Our location for the situation they're in is very similar to the Hunger Games, where they're put in a forest and left to defend for themselves. We chose to do it this way as we wanted it to have a clear natural instinct for survival throughout the trailer.
Find her! We need to go.
The trailer soundtrack begins to pick up here, which is something that happened in many of the trailers that we watched. This helped to begin the tenseness of this trailer and to create more of an atmosphere. The fight scene that you just watched, I feel, is very stereotypical and reflects the masculinity of the two characters. It's also clear to see that they're fighting over the female character, and perhaps she is the love interest. This fight scene we mimicked from The Maze Runner, when two boys fight, and we felt it represents youth and strength and is something boys can relate to.
It's okay.
Our location there, we felt, was a stereotype and showed natural isolation within the trailer. Although they're out in the wilderness, they've still managed to find shelter and shows their skills in that sense, and we wanted that to come across. It's similar to The Maze Runner, but also The Hunger Games, when they find a cave to spend the night in after one of them gets injured. We wanted to show their skills and how smart they are to find shelter and set up camp, but at the same time still be very instinctive.
She's all I've got left now.
They will end up killing each other.
They always do.
We use this exposition so that the audience could get the idea of the fact that these two are being watched. So we cut in from the clip into the same clip so we could see that they were monitoring them throughout the whole process. This is similar to The Hunger Games, where they monitor them in the games and pretty much are trying to predict their every move. Here, they think they know the situation they're dealing with, but they're actually not, and they're getting it quite wrong, which I suppose helps the connotations of the word defiant and why the movie is called Defiance.
Tell Olivia I'm sorry.
In many of the trailers we watched, someone always gets hurt, so we decided to develop this idea, and so ended up having one of our main characters in an injured, bloody state after having an accident with barbed wire. This conforms to things like The Hunger Games, where individuals are killed off so that others can survive. However, we leave this ambiguous, and it creates a code of enigma. We never fully know if he dies, but it's emotionally straining and gets the audience to feel something for the character, who up until now had been quite arrogant. You now see a sensitive side to him, and from us as filmmakers, we decided to do this because we wanted to show that even at your last point, you're still human, and when you're dying, you're still sensitive, and it's not all about instincts then. It's about what really matters, and to him, it's that he wants Olivia to know that he's sorry, and he wasn't just trying to kill her, he was trying to save her. We tried to reinstate equilibrium with this, but then decided to go into a montage to add to the tension.
You trust me?
Up until this point, we don't really know much about the character Nate. However, in the past few shots, we've set him up to not be trusted. He's gone from taking the axe from a dead character and now to grabbing Olivia. So...
Olivia!
We use the intertitle "Who Would You Trust" to engage the audience, but to also add to the amp of the trailer. Is he with her to survive, or does he actually care for her? A question that I think the audience, and our target audience in particular, would want to get answered. Is he there for protection, or just to save his own back? We decided to, unconventionally, I feel, with the title Defiance, have the words "die" taken out of it. You can see here that the D, I, and E is in blue. To begin with, we were a little concerned that people wouldn't be able to notice this straight away, but when playing it back to a member of staff in our school, they picked up on it straight away and thought it was extremely clever, and it, to them, raised questions about the film that they wanted answers. This, to me, I feel, was challenging conventions of real media products, and we hadn't really seen it done before. However, we wanted to have this ambiguous feel to the trailer, and I think this helps with that tone. Like other trailers, we used billing block at the end, which was conventional for our genre. We put social media links in for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We felt this was really important with our target audience as they're young, and this is a modern technology era, and this is how it's going. We also put the date in as well, and then actors, production companies, things like that. Up until this point, our main character Olivia had appeared to be vulnerable, who needs to be saved, and almost as an object of desires for the two boys. But at the end, you can see that she's become the stronger character, and she's developed throughout the trailer. So it raises the question again that we asked: who do you trust now? In terms of editing, we had two narratives going on, the lab and the waking up. We wanted it at the same time, but at a fast pace throughout the montage to get an anxious feeling, and for the speed to get faster and for you to think faster about what's going on. The soundtrack mimics the Maze Runner. However, Maze Runner has more orchestral sounds throughout their trailer. We wanted to go for something more futuristic. This is to establish a technological future that we're trying to create.